Hi, thank you for clicking on my video. My name is Bethan Stamps, and this is our third video in the series of Christmas in July cards and tags. This one might be a little longer this week. Typically I do one card, but today we're gonna work on a one sheet wonder using an 8.5 by 11 sheet of very vanilla cardstock. And we're using the Trees for Sale stamp set. I just thought this was such a cute little set. Oh, look at that, I got a little pearl on the front of it when I saw it in the catalog. And then what really made it interesting to me, boy, already stumbling over my words, was in the celebration catalog. If you purchase $100 worth of supplies, you can add this coordinating die set for free. It has a little camper, it'll cut out the trees. And then another item in the holiday catalog that matches it is this Whimsical Wonderland, I think it's called, 3D embossing folder. I hope you can see that, it's so cute. But for today, we're just going to be working with the stamps. So we're going to make our own designer series paper, pattern paper, and then we're going to cut that up as a one sheet wonder and make 6 cards and 3 tags. So I've got a bunch of different colors here. It's going to be quite different for a Christmas card. We're going to start with Flirty Flamingo, and I'm going to bring in the big tree. Now for the solid base, I want to stamp off before I stamp. Oop, now I made, so this didn't quite get it because I don't have a stamp pad under this, right? That can cause an issue. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my blender pen and bring that in, and it'll be fine because we're going to go over it with a darker shade. There we go. Stamp that off. I like some of these to be on and off the page. All right, so now I'm going to clean this stamp set off, and I'm going to come in with the detailed, and that'll be at full strength over top of these. So we are just going to randomly design this paper. And when I decided to do this, I just pulled out all kinds of bright cherry colors. But I think they're going to work for some Christmas colors. So that was Flirty Flamingo. And then for another red one, I want to bring in Orchid Oasis for the big trees. Again, I'm going to stamp that off. And don't worry about it if you, I'm gonna just color in that area, because when you do this heavy stamping or full strength stamping on top, it will be fine. I should probably put a cushion under here since this is a polymer stamp, right? But we'll be okay. I'll just let that sit a little longer. Take it here. I'm gonna put one upside down. I want them all different ways and directions, because when I cut this, I don't want to have to be dependent on putting it in just one direction on my finished cards. So this is going to be a random designer series paper, non-directional. And what's nice, these don't have to line up perfectly, the two stamps, to look good. All right, so I've got those 2 large colors done. So now I want to go to the medium size colors, and I'm going to start with Sweet Sorbet. Again, just sort of do the same thing, stamp off. One more in here. Okay, and then we're going to come in with the full strength. I just love all these bright colors. How about you? Do you do non-traditional Christmas colors? Okay. So now I want to bring in another for smaller, for the medium, and I'm going to bring in, you know what? I'm going to bring in Coastal Cabana. So you could pull out any color you wanted here. Put one there. And then one more. Okay. That one didn't look too much like Coastal Cabana when I did it. Did it? See if I can line that back up, sort of. There we go. All right, so now full strength again for this double stamping. Printing our own pattern paper. Okay, so that's the Coastal Cabana. So now I'm going to bring in Mint Macaron and Pocket Parakeet for the small ones. So let's do Pocket Parakeet first. Get these around some of the edges. I forgot to stamp that one off, didn't I? Oh well, it'll be just fine. These on top. I think that looks good for now. Let me clean these off. Have my Stampin' scrubber off to the side. Let's bring in some Mint Macaron. Macaron. How do you pronounce it? I think everybody pronounces macaroons differently, right? Macaroon, macaron. Up. All right, Beth, get in the rhythm and stamp these the right way. Okay, and then the solid color. Oh, I missed this one. We'll have to go back to that one. And I believe this was Coastal Cabana in the medium. So let me open that one back up. I missed it. There we go. Okay, so now we have all the trees in our base colors. Let me just make sure I have all my stamps. I'm going to move all these bright colors off to the side. And now we want to take our, I want to do tree stands on all of these. So that comes in the stamp set, and I'm going to do those in soft suede. So this just means moving the paper around or turning so you can get stands on all your trees. Just keep stamping that. Now, for me, this is going to be a whimsical background. Whoop. I'm gonna try to get my head in there because I sort of didn't get that one all stamped. There we go. Get that lined up. So, whoop, drop the stamp pad. So I'm not too concerned about perfection. The lack of that will give me that fun whimsical look. I think, oh, here's one here. Oh, we got a couple down here. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Whoop, I'm seeing another one here. Okay, so I think all my trees now have stands on them. So we can move on from that one. Oh, you know what? I'm going to leave this open again because now we have, and it should be right here. It is. It's the trees for sale sign. So I want to get a few of those in here. Again, I want them random, so I'm going to put some of them upside down. There we go. And one more. Okay, so that's all that I want to do with soft suede. And then this stamp set comes with a cute little dog. So we're going to put him on our paper. Same way. And we're going to do him with crumb cake. And again, just randomly placing these. And turning your stamp, making sure you get those edges. Let's see. How about one in here? We're getting pretty full here, aren't we? We'll just put some feet along the edge there. How about a nose? Okay. So the next thing I want to get, I'm going to close up my crumb cake. We are using a lot of colors today, is Sahara Sand. And this is little puppy paw prints. I just think they're adorable. And so I wanted them to be in a light color. So we're just going to come through here and put some of those, since we have a little dog in our tree lot. Again, just filling in some of those spaces, taking them off the paper and onto the paper. All right, I think, let's see, but we get a couple up here. Can I hit the corner? All right, one more. Reach over here. There are little snowflakes, and I'm going to do these in Smoky Slate. For those of us that live in the cold climate, where we get the snow, you got to have snowflakes on your paper. So I'm just going to go through here again, hitting the edges, filling in these little spots with some snowflakes. So we have a sort of busy background paper. There we go. I think that'll do it. One more. I mean, you could keep trying over and over. So there, we just created our background paper. So give me a second to move all of these out of my way. There we go. Now, I'm going to bring in my trimmer to finish my cards. So I do have a printout of this, and I will have a copy of this on my blog that can be downloaded. But I'll put it off to the side here while we cut this. And because this is a card and tag, you will see each one is marked whether it's going to go on a card or on a tag. And it tells you if you need a mat or the mat size to cut for these. So we're going to start. This is on the 11 side, and we're going to cut off a 5-inch piece. So I'm going to take that and move it to the side. The next one is going to be at 4 inches. And then that's going to leave us this 2-inch place. So now I'm going to work backwards. So I need 2 by 2, and then another 2 by 2, and then I'm going to keep this 2 by 4.5, and both of these are going to get cut diagonally. So I'm going to do my best to keep my points in the center of the cut guide, and then I'm going to pierce my paper and go up and down. That way I'm not pushing against too many of those points to bend them. So let's do this again. We're gonna get it lined up. Whoop, lift that up a little, then get it in the middle and cut those. Okay, so I'm gonna set those off to the side. Those are all my 2-inch pieces. I'm gonna bring back in the 4-inch piece, and I'm gonna cut one at 3 inches, a second one at 3 inches, and then it has that 2.5-inch piece. All right, that leaves us a 5-inch piece. So I'm gonna cut this one at 4. And then I'm gonna cut this in half, or sorry, not in half. I'm gonna cut a 2-inch piece. I'm gonna cut it at 2 inches again. That leaves me this 1/2-inch piece. I'm gonna take this and move it to my tag, and then these will be in my card section. All right, that wasn't too bad. So I have already prepped all my card bases, so I will show you those. Here's the first one we're going to do, and this is that 5x4. Remember I said no mat. Now, one of the things with this one is I ended up cutting my card base short somehow. It came out at 5 1/4. So that's why it may look different, even though this is 5x4. And I matched all of my cards will have an embossed sentiment on them on the same label. They're all embossed in silver embossing powder. And the label that I used is from Stally Shape Dies. And to make that easy for myself, I will just show you. I cut one out, and then I took the frame from the one I die cut, and I taped it down in here. So then when I did my 12 pieces, I simply had to put it in here and then stamp it with Versamark and then heat emboss. So I could stamp it, put the embossing powder on it, set it aside, and then I could do that and then heat set them all. But this trick of putting your outline in here, taping that down, and then stamping them over and over, made it go very quickly for me. So here we go. I have all of my cards are cut the exact same way. They're all the 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4, and they are either portrait or landscape as we go through this. So it made it easy. I cut 2 from Coastal Cabana, 2 from Sweet Sorbet, and 2 from Orchid Oasis. Those are the main colors I used in my cards. So I am just going to take this first piece of our own created designer series paper, and I am just going to glue this down to the front of my card. Now remember I said I made a mistake when I cut this card base. You can see it's smaller, so that's why the fit looks a little better. But I'm still going to use it, and then I'm just going to pop up my sentiment with dimensionals. And as you can tell, I use quite a few dimensionals so my sentiments don't sag, and I use every scrap of those dimensionals. Put that on here. Now, like I said, the prep work takes some time, but then when you do this and you can create your own paper, you can just fly through these. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is let me find my notes here. I think this is it. Yes, a 5x2. So this is this one. My card base is the same, opening the same way. My mat size, I cut that 1/4 inch bigger, so that's 5 1/2 or 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. And I'm going to use one of these. Inside is done, so we are going to attach this. And to make it easy on myself, how I decided to do the sentiments, whatever my matte color was became my sentiment strip. On the inside, for stamping, I stamped The ink for stamping the greeting, again, matched my mat size. My tree matched my card base. That just gave me the ability to get in a flow and stamp everything and get those all done. Because sometimes when you're making a lot of cards, like us card makers do at Christmas time, that just made it very easy. Okay, so there's our second card. And then here's my other 5x2. This one looks a little different. I decided to bring in pocket parakeet for this one on this blue. So again, the mat is cut that 1/4 inch bigger. And I decided to do this one landscape instead of portrait. And I did do a different greeting on this one. This was when I was first playing around with which ones I wanted to do. And I like the way the Christmas greetings look, but it was a little, for me, a little big for my label. So I went back and did all the rest of them in So Very Merry. And then again, thinking that whimsical in mind, I just sort of stuck this one down at an angle. We will go back and put some gems on these. Okay, we're gonna skip over this 5x1/2. So till we get to the tag. So I'm gonna move into the 4x3. And this one is the Sweet Sorbet and the Orchid Oasis. So I'll bring my card in. Again, the inside is done. I have my mat. So I am going to attach my designer paper, pattern paper to it. Put this down on the card. I like to, when I'm doing a lot of cards, I like to make kits like this and then I can just assemble them. Do you do the same, or do you cut each piece as you need it? All right. Here we go. I might just move this one so that blue sticks out and those little dogs. All right. So there's card number 4. Again, we have another one. Whoop. Let's see, here it is. Okay, we have another 4x3. I had to put stickers in these. This one is the Coastal Cabana background. And this time we're going to mount that 4x3 piece on Sweet Sorbet. I would love to know what you think of all these crazy color combinations. Please leave me a comment below. So these two cards are very similar in style. It keeps sticking to me. All right. Here we go. So Very Merry. Put it there. All right. And then our last card is this 4 by 2.5 inch piece. So for this one, I said matching cardstock because I'm not going to mat this one. Instead, I'm going to offset these two pieces. So I'm going to, it's the exact same size, that 4 by 2.5. I'm gonna put this one on here. There we go. And then as far as where you want your sentiments to go, you can put them anywhere on the card front. You can set it on the top like this one is. You can put it across the middle, the bottom. Whatever really works best for you. You could even put it in the center. Let's see, what do I want with this one? I'm gonna put it down here this time. There we go. So let me bring these back in and we'll put some embellishments on it. I have both here. I have the metallic pearls left over that are retired, or you could use the new festive red, green, and silver gold. out of the new catalog. For these ones, I'm going to put on some of the retired ones that we have in our stash. You know, sometimes we have to use those up. All right, so that's that card. Let's put some on here. I thought with the silver embossing powder, these gems looked really nice on here. Okay. There we go. And then we have this one. I always say whether it's an in-person class, an online class, or in my video, when I do these, I am really just offering you suggestions and guidelines. When you do your cards, put your own spin on them, but I hope to be able to give you some ideas that then you can take and turn into your own project. In other words, you do you. All right, so here's our 6 cards. Let me get these out here. I love the colors. Okay, now let's talk about the tags. They're here on the end, and we have these pieces. So let's start with these 2x2 that we cut in half. So this is what we're making. I decided to cut them in half, and then I cut 2 squares that are 3x3. You can still see my powder from when they had to be embossed, and I put on here, "You light up the season." And then I'm just gonna come in. I did that hopefully somewhat centered on the diagonal. Now, again, my thought is I try not to stress too much about these things, right? I figure it's a gift tag. More than likely, whatever gift I put it on, somebody's going to read the name of who it's to, pull off the gift tag, and move on. So don't stress about it. Decorate up your packages, make them cute, and then that's it. I wouldn't spend a ton of time on them unless you're someone that absolutely loves making tags. Now, the other thing I wanted to do here also is I sort of liked that offset rounded edges. To me, it almost sort of looked like an ornament that you could hang. So I did bring in my corner rounder, and I punched the 2 edges on the sentiment side. Let me do this one. And then I wanted some vanilla, very vanilla on the back also, so that you could write that to and from, and it would be easier to read. So I'm going to put this on the back. Now, these are cut 2 3/4. This is not on my sheet for directions, but it is optional. So I'm just going to, oh, look at that, my paper's tearing. Okay, I'm just going to put it on the back, give it a little bit more stability and a place to write. So the tag was 2 inches. The Orchid Oasis is that 3-inch square, and then these were 2 3/4 in between. So, and then I'm just going to line up the rounded edges, and then I'll bring in a hole punch and put the tag up here. Okay, so I have these for now. Let's set those to the side. We'll get to the string in a minute. So then for the 2 by 4.5, I'm cutting a tag base at 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. And what I decided to do with this one, since it takes up the whole tag, is I'm just bringing in another stamp with Season's Greetings in black. And I'm gonna just stamp it right in the center of my paper. I chose that tuxedo black because that will show up. Okay, so let me move this off to the side. Now, I am gonna round these corners. Again, I just sort of think rounded corners on a tag look cute. We'll attach this to the back. And I didn't want to not use this last 1/2 inch strip, so I'm going to put it on here. And for some reason, I went ahead and rounded those also. Oop. Now this one, because I put this on the back here, oh, I should have made it shorter. I forgot that it's a little too long. Looking for a pair of scissors. At this point, I'm just gonna cut that off. Oop, I didn't cut very straight, did I? Okay. Let me round that again. Add a little more glue so it's wet. And there we go. Now, on this one, I am not going to put another piece of white, so I think you can come in here and just put to and from. Since we put that little strip there, I'm going to put a... And then I'm just going to pull in the In Color Baker's twine. And since these were all on that Orchid Oasis, I am just going to put some string on each one of these. You know, and when you think about going out and buying Christmas tags, I know I talked a little bit about this in the first video this month. Why not recycle, right? These were basically like scraps left over from a project, or you can take Christmas cards you have received the year before and then upcycle those or recycle those, whichever way you want to look at it, and make your Christmas tags out of those. Just adds a little bit of a personal touch. All right, this is the last little tag string. My fingers are not working today, but this one was fun for me. So this was the first time I have created a One Sheet Wonder template, and so it was really fun to do this for me. I hope that you're also enjoying it and can use this. Like I said, I will put a link to this template on the coordinating blog below. But here we go again. So we got 6 cards and 3 gift tags out of this One Sheet Wonder, and we created the designer series paper ourselves. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know this video is a little longer than mine usually are, but thank you for sticking with me. And again, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe, hit that thumbs up button down below. And as always, I appreciate you. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.